Alright, so I'm going to make this door out of hackberry. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's, aside from cottonwood, it's pretty much the cheapest wood that I can buy right now, and I wasn't really finding what I wanted in the wood pile, so I actually decided to buy a slab. It was almost the same price. I thought it would be cool for you guys to see where each piece that I'm using comes from, so I laid it out. Hackberry, it's really pretty, and I haven't found anything wrong with it. I don't know why it's not more popular. It's probably because its name just doesn't sound that great. It's got some spalting in it. It should make for a cool looking door. So we got that cut out all the way around. I like to leave the pieces there so you can see the lines on both sides. See if we can get this to focus close in. So you can see that's an undercut. It's not a big deal. It's actually good. But you can see the outside edge where that's going to butt up to the joint is good and square all the way around. It's snowing. It hasn't been sunny out since November. Yay, Ohio. So we're gonna try and get this to slot in here. I've got to do these angles because if I don't, it'll just look goofy with this live edge portion here. And normally I would kind of cut this and then undercut it, but I can't undercut it because right here it'll show where the edge is, any kind of undercut. So we made a jig and I'm gonna use that. All right, here's my jig. It's just two 45 pieces glued together so that I can clamp it. It's like an improvised shooting board, or I guess you could say it almost is a shooting board. Alright, so this is what we got right now. And I actually went over my shoulder line, which is surprising because I made an extra special point not to go over my shoulder line, but where there's a will, there's a way. It's not that big of a deal though, I'll show you how to fix it. Alright, I got this separated. I've transferred my markings onto here. I've got them kind of colored in pencil. So we'll use that same jig to get that cut out and chiseled out. Yeah, it's really hard to split with the grain, so you gotta just go real slow and Alright, I got that in there pretty okay. Let's go see the other side. Now we're gonna fix those later. And this side came out a little better. It'll close up a tiny bit when I clamp it. You can see it looks like it got a little happy-go-jacky with the chisel there.
Friday, so come back on Friday to see what's new. Before you leave.
Alright, I mentioned that we could fix these little overcuts really easily. And it won't be that hard because you basically got a built-in shooting board from both angles. So I just cut some little strips that are the same size as my holes. Oh, we got this side nice and smooth. And then this side here, you know, I'm just gonna send it through the planer. All right, I don't know how much you can see, but that's just a really nice finish straight. All right, got that cut in there, a couple screw ups, which I think I can fix. That went okay. Now I'm gonna cut it with a jigsaw. Alright, so here's what we got going on. We've got to glue this up. I left these two pieces separate, not glued up, and the thinking was that I could run it through the planer, continue to run it through the planer as I glued these pieces. Problem is it's greatly complicating things. And the way that I made this channel is definitely not the best way. I ended up with some stuff like that. The next time I do it, I had some router bushings and I left them at the old shop. And I'm gonna go to the store and get some router bushings and hopefully get a better path through my templates. Alright, I really screwed up when gluing this up. I'm like 90% sure that this thing is just gonna break apart. So we'll try it. Hey! All right, so my original plan of leaving these separate so I could run them through the planer isn't really possible because the glue up is just too difficult when there's so many different pieces. So I'm gonna have to glue these two pieces together and then try to do these inlays again. Okay, so we're gonna put another line in here, another wave. And my dad always used to tell me it's not about not screwing up, it's about being able to fix your mistakes. And so we get a chance to go over this gap right here and cover it up. So we're gonna do that. And then we lined it up so that, focus. We're also gonna get to cover this one here, this little router mishap. All right, this came out a little better. Still had some problems, mostly where I was kind of going against the grain with the router. So up here I started going a different direction, that worked a lot better. Down here I was trying to kind of go up into the grain, and you can see it started going crooked again there. Maybe a little bit down here. But it came out better than the first one.
The indirect object remember, te gusta, and so on. But then there's extreme. Of whichever we're working with.
All right, this glue up went much better, not perfect. I should have it down just in time to never do it again. All right, well, I was gonna add another little squiggly line, but I don't think it'll add anything. It'll take a lot of time. Alright, there you go. You got a nice profile put on that. Shapers are a really good value. All those cutter heads and this shaper was 500 bucks. Alright, so we got one down and one to go. And that came out pretty good. It's going to look really nice when it's sanded and finished.
Te voy a hacer 5 preguntas y tú me dices qué es mejor. ¿Qué es mejor en tu opinión? Número 1. ¿Qué es mejor? ¿Dormirte? Defreeze. A lo contrario, decimos solamente defrost, por ejemplo, sacarlo de la congeladora, pero es curioso.
I always get asked what I finish with, and it's this stuff right here. Car alarm. Alright, so don't worry, I only glued up one side. I just have this side on here for alignment, and these joints are super tight. They look like they're not just because this side is slightly proud of this side, but once I sand it, they'll be really good. Same with this one. Another glue up. First one, I set my car alarm off, and that one someone decided to call me incessantly on the phone from an unknown number. Yeah, these joints really closed up pretty good with sanding. Definitely disappeared pretty well. Even this one was pretty tough, and it really clamped up pretty good. And it's got a little bit of, that was just me kind of going overboard with the chisel, but it closed up pretty well. It looks good. Same with that one.
como dice por ejemplo un pan de plata muy frío, so outside to see what's new. If you are listening to the podcast,
There we go.
arriba la losa.
Sí, es verdad. En México esta palabra trastes es muy común porque estamos hablando de varios utensilios.
Last time I did this, I screwed the frame into the work table, but I got spacers down there this time. Please fit. I gotta cut these screws off because those could make it difficult to fit into the rough opening properly. Alright, so let's talk about some of the stylistic things I was trying to do here and some of the lessons learned. First, I'm really glad that I started out with a slab. It allowed this to be all pretty uniform in color. I decided to leave these edges live. I did that for a couple of reasons. For one, it's a cabin, it's going to go in a cabin, so it's going to be kind of a rustic look. Two, it allows me to make a lot of use out of the wood that I do have. This is just sapwood in here, and all it's doing is holding the panels. It doesn't have to be super strong. And the third thing is hate's too strong a word. I dislike it when woodworking tries to hide the fact that wood is a natural material and it used to be a tree. So leaving the live edge there and there a little bit kind of makes it, it's kind of a shout out to the tree. Hackberry, it's not bad. I mean, I would say maybe it's a little bit more prone to tear out. I didn't have any trouble machining with my machines, but hand planing, I'd lose focus and realize I was planing in the wrong direction, and then all of a sudden I get some tear out. So that's something to be aware of. Some of the stuff that I regret, this detail in the middle, I like it, but I did not execute it well. The first thing is I should have paid much more attention when I was making the curve, the pattern. I just drew it, I didn't give any thought to it, and it ended up not being super round, which I didn't realize that until I had put it into the door. The other thing that happened was I got too focused on covering my mistakes, and I kind of lost sight of the big picture, and I was concerned about getting it to cover the screw ups. So in reality, I think that this is too small. It would have looked better if it had been bigger here, smaller here, and if the curves had been a little bit less pronounced and a little bit smoother altogether. Glue up was difficult. The other thing that was definitely something to be aware of is that as you're routing, because both sides of the bit are hitting wood, you don't really have to think about climb cuts or whatever. You just have to pay attention to basically making sure that you're going uphill into the pattern. So change direction. If you get to like the top of the curve, take it out, start over, and go from the other direction to make sure you're going uphill. And if you're going like straight with the grain, just be super careful because it kind of wants to just continue along with the straight grain. Joints, I'm really happy with how the joints came out. I think all the joints came out super good. I always can get better joints when I mark and then chisel rather than trying to cut joints with my machines. Maybe that means I'm just not good at dialing with machines, but I can always get better joints by hand. Let's see, I don't know how I feel about this walnut. The trim where this is going out here is walnut in the whole room. So I kind of thought that these strips here would tie the walnut in. Same with these maple strips there. The other door I built has 2 walnut strips that are vertical in it, and I thought these maple strips would kind of tie it together. We'll see. All in all, I really like this sapwood in the middle. I think that looks cool. But you know, it's doors are tough. I think this probably took me like 3 weeks. So if we're going by the what's the guy's name? If we're using the Blacktail Studio naming convention, this is like a $7,000 door. I don't know if someone needs to actually buy it for it to be named a $7,000 door, but that's what it would cost if I was selling it to someone. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And next week is going to be when we install this, or either next week or the week after. But next video we'll be installing this door in the cabin. So if you want to see where it goes, make sure that you come back.